I will name and shame them today. All 6 of the half, right? Kevin, Mark, Richard, Carol, Deborah and Audrey, right? I am a victim of abuse at the hands of evil, vile, mixed race, much elder half siblings who are old enough to be my parents. As I rot here homeless, as I rot here in devastation, as I rot here as a victim of severe violations, they, who all lost their virginity by the age of 16, who all fucked about with multiple partners, because let's be honest, my bereaved, widowed father never gave them any strictness, never gave them any, discipline. You understand? They're all frolicking about. They've got grandchildren now. He's dead. Where's my inheritance? Where's my money? I looked after my father. They didn't. I looked after him. As the youngest child, I looked after my frail, elderly, disabled father. And I was only born out of convenience, not out of love. He didn't love my mother. He fucked her so he could get benefits. He fucked her so he could have a carer, a slave, a care assistant in the house. He fucked her so he could probably keep his house. Where did it get him? I'm the one suffering at the hands of their mistakes, do you understand? My fucked up half siblings encouraged their elderly father, who was widowed, who had no partner at the time, to go and find the most vulnerable person to fuck and have children with. What does he do? He listens to them. And as a result, I'm born out of that fucked up fuckery. You understand? Not even God can forgive these people. I've seen all sorts of people in this society. You've got these teenage prostitutes who have children by the age of 15 and they get all these benefits and they proudly stroll the prams around. But I tell you something, they're not suffering. They're not struggling. You won't see them being abused by academic institutions and police and hospital staff and the local councils. Shame on them. I curse them. I really fucking curse them. No matter how much I've tried to pray and forgive, I curse these fucking fucked up nitwits who are the epitome. I mean, no words that I say right now, right? No words that I say can actually justify the level of corruption these people are committing. Everything from paedophilia, drug addiction, child molestation, every crime under the sun they have committed. And yet they are not the ones suffering with chronic disabilities and diseases and illnesses and exclusion. Do you know there is scientific proof that exclusion is just as bad as, if not worse, than physical pain? It's the same pain receptors in the brain. They knowingly excluded me. The University of Bolton, the NHS mental health team, the Greater Manchester Police, each and every one of them have committed this premeditated attack against a vulnerable, ethnic minority, law-abiding, conscientious citizen. Why? For what pleasure? What kick can you possibly get from that? You don't understand, right? I have not even begun to expose them. Right? These people are druggies, alcoholics, paedophiles, criminals, rapists, murderers, unqualified little shits. And whilst my evil half-siblings are out there thriving in Dubai holidays and worldwide cruises with their children and their grandchildren and their fucking white privileged little sprogs, I'm rotting away here with no medical support, no mental health support, no physical health support, no support of any kind whatsoever. It is September. Other people are in academia. Other people get to study. They say study, but they at least get to have that status. Other people have access to education, housing, employment. Just because they can say that they work, it doesn't mean they're actually working. But they can say, because they have the privilege, that they are working, which means they can then afford the housing that is only offered to employed people. I have tried every polite, diplomatic, kind, calm, righteous route. And where has it got me? Where has it got me? In some dilapidated, disgusting, mite-infested area where there's probably been multiple crimes committed in this very building, including suicides. And I can see the blood splatters everywhere. It doesn't matter how much I clean. While they get to thrive and frolic about and laugh at the expense of people like me, what do I have? What do I have? Who do I have? Nothing. And you have these fucking little shits working in the Bolton Council housing option, sitting behind their little desks, pretending to help people who are in need, but they could not give less of a shit if they tried. They do it for the prestige and the awards and the accolades. They want to look like they're helping vulnerable people. Vulnerable? You fucking call these people vulnerable? They're fucking about every night. They know how to access drugs. They've got arms and legs. They know how to use the sexual genitals, their organs. They know exactly what they're doing, right? They've probably got children left, right and centre where they've popped them out in different boroughs of the country, if not elsewhere. They're not vulnerable. I'm vulnerable. But you don't see me claiming and getting benefits for vulnerability though, do you? You don't see me getting all the... And don't even get me started on the hotel immigrants, migrants. There's people, right? There's literal proof. I am hearing and I'm seeing and there is evidence of it. These people coming into these hotels and places that they are being offered, which, let me tell you, are much, much, much more luxurious than temporary accommodations. They are molesting young children. They are raping women and girls in these places. Right, and they are just being let to roam wild and free, and they are being given... They have no sense of discipline, they have no sense of what the law is, and yet you will not see these people being sectioned, abused, violated, excluded. Exclusion is a very underrated crime, in my opinion. You know, it's not just people with machetes and guns and... people who are victims of those sorts of crimes who are victims. Social exclusion, such as the way I am experiencing right now, is a crime of the worst kind, because you can't necessarily report it. You can't necessarily combat it with with other illegal means. And they do it to the most marginalised. If they don't like how you look, they don't like... If you can't offer certain things, they exclude you even further. But what they fail to realise is that everything they say, they do, they lie about is going to catch them and bite them in the arse cheeks, quite literally. You know, these chronic diseases that people get in later life in this country, it's not a coincidence. They've done things, they've said things, and they've got away with things for far too long, and then they act all surprised when their bodies start playing up on them. You cannot, it is illegal to abuse people on their immutable characteristics, and yet that is exactly what these people are doing. But they're happy to protect the dirty little cretins who are committing actual crimes, all because of how they look. Lookism, racism, sexism, it's rife. It's everywhere. In every institution, in every location, in every building, here in Bolton and elsewhere, I can tell you that with evidence-based information. Even if you go for an interview, right, as an unemployed, hardworking, grinding, fucking innocent as can be individual, you will not be accepted in that workplace because of your immutable characteristics that they take a dislike to. There's no such thing as equity or equality in this country. And look at that bitch who, what's her name, Angela, the stamp duty tax offender. She's not going to get any punishment, where there are people like myself who are literally homeless, and she's going to continue to be allowed to live in luxury housing, even though she's not followed the law that she, more than anybody else, knows better than to follow as an MP. But she'll still have her job as an MP. There is so much corruption in Bolton Council. I can't even speak about some of those things. In fact, I can't even write it because it will actually make me sick. But look at how ignorant they are. I have now got over 2 months of evidence of their ignorance towards vulnerable people. And they have the audacity to call these drug addicts, paedophiles, criminals, rapists, murderers vulnerable. They're not fucking vulnerable. They're not vulnerable when they know exactly what they're doing. They're not vulnerable when they know exactly where to source the drugs, how to get them, how to access them, and how to take them. They're not vulnerable because their arms and legs are working, the sexual organs are working, every part of their fucking bodies are working. They're not covered in afflictions and they're not covered in chronic lesions and diseases. They're not vulnerable. Make them work. That's my argument. Force them into work. I want to see these people work in the ways I want to see them work as care assistants, school assistants, key workers like I've done. I want to see them work. I want to see them study. I want to see them sat behind a desk for at least 6 hours a day, and I want to see them study. And you tell me they're vulnerable. And they start ripping their eyes out because they can't cope. Dirty people. Dirty people. They're not vulnerable. They're adults with full fucking capacity and choice. Make them work. Make them grovel. Make them be in a situation as dire as mine where there's no choice. Because why? Because I'm not white. Because I don't have children. Because I'm not prioritised. But you, by all means, continue prioritising the illegal migrants who, let's be honest, they get to look down on people like me because we're not as a few shades darker. Keep prioritising them, but you'll be sorry when it's your children who are hurting because of the people you're letting in, whilst you're neglecting the ones who actually have potential and a hard work ethic. Look around every institution you're going into, every town centre, every city centre at the moment. Look at the state. And it's the government's fault and it's the local councils' fault that they are continuing to allow these abuses to happen because they're not supporting the people who actually need the support. They're not supporting the causes they actually need to address. So, last message, fuck you all. And just die.